Hi, everyone. It's Super again. And I'm here to wish you a very happy new year. And I pray that this year will be a very prosperous one for every one of us here. Um, I just have a short message for us to begin the year with, and I call it turning your disadvantages into advantages. In fact, 2020 has taught us a lot of lessons for us to learn to turn our disadvantages into advantages for 2021. In fact, I know you know that better than I do, actually. Now, before I start this message, I want to share a very short story from the Bible about this guy called Zacchaeus. The Bible said this guy was a very short guy and he was a tax collector. But then he saw a large crowd that was following Jesus and he wanted to see Jesus himself. But because of his height, the fact that he was a short guy, the lady said you don't like the short guys. Yeah, that's right. But the fact that he was a short guy was a disadvantage. What did he do? He decided to run ahead of the crowd that was following Jesus, and he climbed a tree to give himself elevation. Now, by the elevation that he gave himself, when Jesus approached that tree, he looked up and he saw him on top of the tree. Jesus said, Zacchaeus, come down off the tree. Today, salvation has come to your house. I will stay in your house. Now, all the people that were following Jesus were blown away that Jesus had to choose this tax collector, this short man. Why? Now, the people who were tall and they considered themselves worthy, they had the advantage of height and they were dogoyaros and everything. You know what they did? They were pushing each other, trying to reach Jesus. But the guy who knew that he could not reach him by pushing people, he was smart enough to find an advantage out of his height, which was a disadvantage. So that gave him the opportunity to get the best out of who he wanted to see. Now, in my own life, I struggled a lot in my childhood, in school, and everything. But I learned how to use those disadvantages to get scholarships to come this far in my life. Now, there are so many people who actually struggled more than I did, a million times more than I did, but they did not learn how to use their stories. And I want you to understand that in 2021, if you really want to turn your life around, you have to look back and look at the struggles you went through and everything. You have a story and learn how to sell the story. Look at this. You don't just sell your story without anything attached to the story. You have to learn how to work hard. I learned how to sell my story, but I also worked very, very hard in school. And wherever I went, I always looked forward to being among the best. I wasn't always the best, but I tried to be among the best. You understand? So when I went to sell my story to anybody to tell them that I deserve a scholarship for the next level of my education, they looked at the hard work I had. They look at the education. They look at the results I put in front of them. And they say that, yes, he deserves to be given a good scholarship. Now, I learned also from my big brothers. They did not go on have comprehensive scholarships like I have had. But they did one thing that taught me something. I saw that my big brothers always walked to people with admission letters in their hands. And they presented it to them and said that, look, I have this admission, but I don't have money to go to school. And people helped them to be at least to be able to pay for their entrance fees into school. And I know a couple of people who have done that. Now, notice this. Just having good results or good aggregate or whatever is not enough for you to get to the next level. You have to still go in and do an extra work of having an admission letter in your hands. If you show up before any big man who can support you with grade and say that this is the grade I have and I want to go to school, trust me, that person probably doesn't even know what program you want to study and where you want to go. If you show up and say that this is my grade and this is my admission letter, and this is how much I have to pay to go to the school. People will be willing to help you. So you have to be willing to take an extra step to do whatever thing you want to do in 2021. You have to be willing. So just your story is not enough. You have to work harder. Don't show up in a big man's house and ask him for a job. Show up and tell him that, hey, I have applied to this job and that job and that job, and I need your help with recommendations with this to get there. That is different than to show up in a big man's house and say, oh, I got a degree, but I don't have a job and I'm looking for a job. You know what? If I am such a person, I would buy you a truck and tell you to go out and be pushing. It's a job. So you have to use your head and learn how to turn the disadvantages that are in your life, turn them into advantages. You've grown up in a village. There are struggles. People are going through a lot of pain and everything in the village, and you are there. You see it. You went somewhere. You got a degree. You are back. You have no job. You have to learn how to use the struggles of your people and turn them into a business advantage. People sell their story out. People will be willing to sponsor you. The fact that you are working in NAPCO or whatever and they don't pay you at all should cause you to think outside the box and look for better options to make money, to survive. You have to. The fact that you are struggling to survive out of 559 or whatever it is, 700 GH, you have to think outside the box, and you have to be also critical about the kind of business opportunities you get yourself into. And the people you surround yourself with, they are very important. The friends in your network in 2021 is very important. There are people who are chickens, right? And you are an eagle among them. You have been trying to let them become eagles, but they are not willing to join you. Let me tell you something. Unless you shake them off, they will pull you down to their level so that you will be a chicken. If they are willing to come to your level as an eagle, fly with them. If they are not willing, shake them off and go. You don't have to have everybody in your life in 2021. Look, don't say that, oh, I have New Year resolutions. I have wishes without plans. What? If you have wishes and if you have wishes for 2021 and you say, oh, in 2021, I will do this, I will do that, and you don't have a plan of how you will do it. You went to church or you went to wherever and you were praying and you said, this is what I want to happen in my life in 2021, and you don't have a plan of how you will get there. Trust me, by the end of this month, January, you would have forgotten it. You have to have a very clear plan about how you want to achieve your plans. You want to go to school, you want to get a master's degree. You are sitting there and say, in 2021, I will go to school. I will get a master's degree. But boy, you don't even know the school you want to go to. You don't know how to apply to the school. You don't know if you need a scholarship to go there or not. You have no plan. I'm sorry. For 2021, you and I have to learn how to turn our disadvantages into advantages. And I'm very sure that if you have a plan for the year, don't just have New Year resolutions, have plans towards achieving those resolutions. And by the end of the year, you would have turned all your disadvantages into advantages. By the end of the year, the thick and tall people who were standing and saying that, let us see how he can do it, you will turn around and have a smile on your face and say, I did it. You've got to be confident about whatever you get yourself into, and you have to learn how to work harder. I have told myself I will work harder in anything that I set my hands on. Don't start it today and tomorrow you drop it and then you look for a different thing. You have to learn how to give your heart to whatever you set out to do. May this year indeed be a blessing unto all of us. And may God help us all to turn our disadvantages, to turn our pain, to turn our difficulties into opportunities and to excel in whatever we set out to do. God bless us all in 2021. Thank you.